A special case here because even though your kidneys are damaged and the nitrogen waste products are tough to get rid of, you're losing protein and you have to have a little extra. So there's a protein called albumin. That's the main blood protein that holds the water inside the bloodstream. But you're losing albumin a few different ways. Usually when the kidneys are really bad, your liver isn't super healthy either. So very often the production of albumin in the liver goes down. Then if your kidneys are still producing any urine, then the protein is leaking out through the kidneys, and the very process of dialysis actually filters out additional quantities of this protein. So you're losing it three-way, and this is causing severe edema. So it is very important that you get some protein, but if you also watch my previous video on proteins, you'll understand that you want to focus on the high quality proteins, because the nitrogen waste comes from proteins that are turned into fuel, into energy. You want the better the quality of protein, the higher the percentage of the protein that gets turned into tissue. And if it gets turned into tissue, there is no nitrogen waste. The lower the quality of the protein, like oftentimes protein powders, are poorly utilized and create a lot of nitrogen waste. And this brings us to the situation where a standard kidney restriction diet is appropriate. And this is stage 3 and 4 of chronic kidney disease. This is what we talked about, the shaded area. And now there is moderate to severe damage. There is still hope, but you can't burden the kidneys very much, and they can't do their job optimally anymore. So in stage 3 and 4, you need to limit your sodium below 2,000 milligrams per day. You need to limit your phosphorus to less than 1,000. And your protein should probably be limited somewhere between 60 and 80 grams, depending on your body size. Now, potassium's a little different because it is still filtered properly in this stage 3A, between 45 and 60. So you don't want to limit it because it is a very, very valuable mineral. And if your body needs it and can still handle it, then you don't want to restrict it. However, once you hit 3B, between 30 and 45, now you need to start watching it. And you should limit it to below 3,000 milligrams. And once you hit even lower in stage 4, you need to limit it below 2,000. And why is this so important? Because a lot of your signaling in the body, especially regarding the heart, is very sensitive to potassium. So too high a level of potassium can cause heart arrhythmias, and in really severe cases, it can actually cause your heart to stop. So now that you understand those stages, the foods become a cinch, and you can figure this out for a wide variety of foods, but remember that this applies for stage 3 and 4 primarily. And if you need to review the other stages, then go back and do that. So apples are often recommended. They have some good cleansing properties. Their phosphorus is very low, 11 milligrams, potassium 107 milligrams, and sodium only 1 milligram. And all of these numbers are per 100 grams. So an apple might be, actually large apple might be twice as big as that. So here's the caveat though. If you are early, like in stage 3, and your kidney is getting damaged by insulin resistance, then you want to pass on this, because if you have diabetes or insulin resistance, sugar is the last thing that you want to add. There are other things with low levels of these minerals that will not add the burden of sugar. One such example is bell pepper. So here you're getting roughly the same low levels as an apple, but without all the sugar. Very low levels of all three. Very common on recommended list are berries. So my favorite is raspberries because they have a lot of nutrients, tons of flavor, and very low in sugar. So these berries are very similar. They're low in phosphorus, potassium, and sodium, but raspberries only have 5 grams of sugar. Blueberries are a little higher in potassium and phosphorus, but also twice as high in sugar. And then something that's associated with kidneys and bladder to help clear things out, which is true, are cranberries. Now, the problem is, I do not know many people who can consume cranberries without adding large amounts of sugar. So again, just like the apple, if you have insulin resistance or diabetes, that's what caused the kidney problem in the first place. So don't eat that unless you can drink it on its own without adding sugar. Cabbage is a great food, very low in these, and there's many different ways that you can use cabbage, and one of course is sauerkraut. Number 5 is cauliflower. It's a little bit higher in potassium, and keep in mind that these numbers are per 100 grams, and cauliflower is something that you could easily consume a few hundred grams. So it's only toward the later stages, though, that you have to limit potassium. Green leaf lettuce is another great one. It's very low in these items because their numbers are low to start with, but it's also very difficult to consume 100 grams of lettuce. I mean, 30, 40, 50 grams of lettuce goes a long way. Another great food is onion. It is low in all these minerals, but it's also low in carbohydrates, but high in sulfur-containing amino acids, which can help boost glutathione and boost your immune system and your cleansing ability. Now here's an interesting one, because egg whites is on virtually every list of kidney diets. So minerals are low in the egg white, and it has a good amount of protein. But here's the problem. When you take out the yolk, which they recommend you take it out because of the phosphorus in this case. Now, when you take the yolk out, you're lowering the protein value of this food. It's very poorly utilized when you only eat the egg whites, so you're going to make more of this nitrogen waste that you're trying to avoid. So what I would suggest is that you still eat the whole egg. When they say to restrict the phosphorus, potassium, sodium, they say restrict. You don't have to eliminate it. You don't have to eat 0, because everything has a little bit. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the protein you eat counts, that you get the most possible building blocks, the best possible building blocks for the amount of these phosphorus and these minerals that you consume. So you still have a kind of a budget of phosphorus. So when you eat the protein, make it count. But of course, you can't have unlimited amount of whole eggs because you're still trying to limit these things. Same thing with meat and fish. They're usually not excluded from these kidney diets, but they are recommended that you limit them, which I would totally agree with. But these are still some of your best choices to get the protein, because you do need some protein. So when you do eat the protein, make it count. Get the best quality that you can so that your body gets the proper building blocks. Even though it does have higher levels of these items, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. And number 10 on the list are 3 items that are generally considered very cleansing. They have a lot of positive properties. They're anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, etc. We have garlic, ginger, and turmeric. And this is the only time I give you the quantities per 5 grams, not 100 grams, because you probably wouldn't even be able to eat 100 grams of these if you tried. They're pretty potent. So garlic, ginger, turmeric, very low levels. And as you can see, even a teaspoon of turmeric has some amount of potassium, but again, you're not going to eat all that much. So these would be a great addition, almost like a medicinal addition to help cleanse the body in small quantities. If you enjoyed this video, you loved that one. And if you truly want to master health by understanding how the body works, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, and turn on all the notifications so you never miss a life-saving